This episode of Return to Tradition was brought to you by the Saint Maker Catholic Life Planner Toolkit, a resource using Catholic wisdom and modern science to help you achieve that sanctity God is calling you to. Thousands of Catholics are on the Saint Maker journey, and you can join them with a 90-day risk-free trial offer backed with a 100% refund guarantee. Go to www.thesaintmaker.com/return to tradition to learn more and use promo code return to tradition to save 10%.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone, and welcome to a Thanksgiving edition of the Mailbag. This one's going to be a little different than my usual mailbag videos. I'm going to answer a few questions, or we'll call them like archetypes of questions I get in emails or in comments. And I'm also going to bring back a few clips from the live stream I did last weekend and sort of expand on them a little bit, so that for the purpose of maybe some clarity and follow-up, especially on the stuff I got from the monks of St. John Cantius. Now, this is Thanksgiving, and a lot of traditional Catholics like to counter-signal Thanksgiving. Don't. There's nothing disordered about showing gratitude for God to God to things that you have been given in life. There is literally nothing disordered about that. If you want to sanctify the day, go to Mass today. By the time you're saying this, maybe you've gone to Mass or it's too late, but you know what I mean. Going to Mass is fine. Celebrating the day is fine. You want to avoid making it a non-holy reflective day, don't put on the ball game, or don't go stand in line at Best Buy today. Black Friday's an evil day anyway. But anyway, let's get on to the mailbag. So I do want to address some mail that I've gotten that I forgot to do in my last mailbag video. And so I got an interesting care package, and I showed you this, Adrian, before this. Let me see if I can get it on camera. This came from the nice folks over at St. John Cantius in Chicago. They sent me a box back in like April or something, and then I forgot, and I didn't do a mailbag video until like September. I kind of forgot about it. It's got coffee in it. How many of you knew that they do coffee? Yeah, this is all washed out because of the light, but they actually do coffee. This is their Nicaraguan Cantius blend. Very nice branding there. A snazzy coffee mug that they sent me. So thanks, guys. If any of you are connected to St. John Cantius, let's say thank you to them for me, and my apologies for not putting this in video yet. The interesting thing here is a book they sent, The Church's Year of Grace, Volume 1, Advent to Candlemas, by Dr. Pius Parsh. So this is a good timing for me to have relocated this in my, kind of a disaster area of an office, because Advent is starting just in a few days. And it's better than me, going and spending money for a book on spiritual reflections for Advent, like we do at Lent, or for Lent every year. I don't know how the coffee tastes. I'll let people know, because any of you who watch my other channel will know that I gave up drinking coffee for a while. I went back to drinking coffee. Turns out it's better for my mental health to drink coffee. My wife knows.
I'm sure it's good for everyone around you as well.
7 months after 7 months of not drinking coffee, you'd think I would have been over it. My body would have thought it was weird to drink it again. Nope, not at all. In fact, it was easier to drink black coffee this time than it was last time. That says something. The other thing I wanted to show, this is probably, aside from when I put this on YouTube, or do a clip from this for a video later in the week, maybe on Thanksgiving, literally the only time you're going to see this, I'm not the kind of guy to put this behind me, is this stupid thing. YouTube sent me one of these. Yay.
Nice. Congratulations.
100,000 subscribers. It's
well-deserved.
It's a pricey paperweight. I don't know where I'm going to put it. It's going to be in the office somewhere. But that thing is cool, I guess. And, I can't say that I wasn't pleased to get it. I mean, when you hit a milestone most people never reach, it's always nice. But at the end of the day, it's, the fact that I get like support from the audience is much more important to me than that thing, because, why bother, really? So one of the things I am thankful for this year is my ability to support my family with the work I do here, which is, a gift from God to me anyway. And it is made possible by the viewers who tune in and watch my videos on a regular basis. And it's made possible by the patrons who support the work I do here. It is greatly appreciated, and it is honestly something I literally thank God for every night. But I did try that coffee. Now, I usually drink Mystic Monk coffee, and there's a coffee from a YouTuber I buy too, and his coffee's really good. But those are usually what I drink. I am a coffee snob. It's call it a side effect of having been born, not born, but coming, raised and discovering coffee in the Portland, Oregon area, having lived there most of my life, which is sort of the coffee mecca of the United States. Not Seattle. Most of the good coffee shops in Seattle get their coffee from Portland, Oregon. You may not have known that. But so as a coffee snob, I'm going to tell you something right now. This stuff, and I'll just put a picture on the screen. The stuff from St. John Cantius, and are the Mystic Monks, who make the Jingle Bell Java, the wonderful, wonderful Jingle Bell Java. If I were them, I would be worried because that coffee is some of the best coffee I have ever had. The stuff from St. John Cantius. It's a simple black medium roast, wonderful coffee. It's the kind of coffee that before I was able to, train myself to drink black coffee, I was able to drink black because of how smooth it is. This coffee is silky. I can't describe it any other way. It's wonderful stuff. The web address for their web store is on the screen. Tomorrow is Black Friday. Monday is Cyber Monday. We're at that season where people are, realizing Christmas is a month away. If you want to buy somebody in your life a Christmas gift, maybe go pay their website a visit. And the Mystic Monks, too. I love their coffee. Jingle Bell Java is the kind of thing I buy enough of during Christmas so that I have it until they release their Paschal blend for Easter. So, but yeah, that coffee is great stuff. And I cannot say enough that it's, how good it is. So go pay their website a visit if you can. Again, web address is on the screen. Finally, well, next anyway, I get questions sometimes about how, I read all these bad news stories every single day and how you don't lose the faith. And I had, one of my detractors, reacting to a video of mine recently saying a bunch of silly stuff, and that's their prerogative. They can say whatever they want. I don't care. And I'm not going to name them because I'm not going to advertise their channel for them, because that's the point of doing videos like that. It's a naked attempt to get free advertising. That's what it is. But the only thing they said that really bothered me, and that was that I don't have the faith. Now, unless the person is Padre Pio or St. John Vianney, they don't know that. Okay. St. John Vianney and St. Padre Pio, or priests like them, had a charism for reading souls. Pretty sure this person didn't have that. So that was the only thing that bothered me. And people ask, how I don't keep the faith, or how I don't lose the faith, rather. And some of it is the praying of the Little Office of the Blessed Virgin Mary and the Holy Rosary every day, seeing my children and understanding that I have a responsibility to, teach them the faith, and that everything they do in life are things that I'm going to have to answer for myself before our Blessed Lord. But also, people ask me what Catholic YouTube channels I watch. I don't watch very many. Honestly, I don't watch much Catholic content because I don't want to accidentally copy what someone else's point that they make in a video, but also because the news is so bad out there that it begins to feel like work almost, watching someone else talk about the crisis in the church. So I don't watch that much. I watch some, but not that much. I watch Catholic Drive Time, which is where Adrian in that clip comes from. He's one of the co-hosts, and you can hear them on Guadalupe Radio Network or watch them on the Catholic Drive Time YouTube channel. I sometimes will watch the occasional Taylor Marshall video or the occasional Remnant video. Catholic Family News's weekly news show sometimes. Not much else, though. Occasional Census Fidelium, occasional SSPX homily thing. But other than that, it's not a lot of Catholic content. Oh, and I watch the Rundown. Okay. That's it. I don't watch anything else. Not much anymore. Just because I'm so, neck deep in the crisis in the church, reading these stories, that watching anybody else talk about it is not something I really want to do. And I would rather read a Lives of the Saints than watch a Lives of the Saints. I would rather read the wisdom of the saints and listen to somebody else talk about it, or just go to the source. So, but there's some other things I do, and we talk about it in the next clip.
You're either going to cry or you're going to laugh, and I choose to laugh. It's much more fun.
I do too. This is why, people ask me, Anthony, I started following you on your Facebook, but all you do is post memes. I'm like, yes. What do I talk about every day on my channel? There's a reason I post memes during the day, just because otherwise, while I'm reading these news stories during the day, decide what I'm going to talk about the next day. It's easy. You've seen, how many Catholic public figures have you seen get so black-pilled that they walked away from the faith? That's not going to be me. If that means I have to, have a good laugh, laughing at a kind of a crude meme, I'm going to do that, because it's a much better way than just getting totally black-pilled. There seems to be that problem.
It's important to have good friends and family too. If you have good friends and family, recently had people attack, people try to cancel me, and I can see whenever the whole world is like coming down on you and everybody's freaking out, and I can see why people cave and why people go under. But it wasn't the case for me because I had good friends, good family, my parents, my siblings, and then just my friends who all came out and defended me. And I'm like, how can people survive this if they don't have a support structure? And of course, and if you don't have God, and it makes 100% sense why you see all these celebrities who say one good thing and then the world attacks them, and then immediately cave and turn their backs. It's because they don't have any kind of support structure, not from God, not from their family, and not from their friends.
That having friends and family point Adrian makes there is important. And that's, for a lot of people, it's hard these days. A lot of your family stopped going to mass, whether it's your immediate family, your own children, or your siblings or your cousins or whatever family members you were used to seeing at mass stopped going to mass after the parishes all locked their doors in 2020, when only things that were deemed essential by Caesar were left open, and the bishops didn't fight back against that because they didn't believe the sacraments were essential. It's not much wonder that people walked away. And I know a lot of people found some, community, some sense of community, and some that a sort of a substitute for that in online Catholic groups, whether it's Catholic Twitter or some Facebook groups you're in on face, that are Catholic on Facebook or whatnot. And those are good things, but they still don't substitute for the real thing. So if you're feeling black-pilled these days, I would go and find some sort of like in-person community, and that should be in your parish. Ideally, it would be near the parish, in the parish you live near. I don't go to the parish I live near for a number of reasons. Someday, I in that live stream, I told the story of what drove me out of the new mass finally, and I'll tell that story again in a more structured way at some point in a video. But we go to that local parish for confession, and that's about it. Give to their food box, but for us, there wasn't a whole lot of community there anyway. For whatever reason, we were treated more like outsiders there, before we went 100% traditional mass than anywhere else. Not at any of the traditional parishes we've gone to, which is odd. So, but it is important to have those things, because also you need to raise your family in the church and in the community of the church. It's one of the biggest safety nets for your family is for them to be connected to that parish community. Speaking of a family, by the way, here's the final clip I'm going to play from that other live stream. And it's the follow-up update to what I did in my mailbag video in September, where I announced that my wife was expecting. Speaking of my children, the final personal update, I'm going to make probably do clips, various segments of this into a mailbag video or something for tomorrow. But the final update, my last mailbag video, I was like, hey, my wife's pregnant. Yay, right? And well, we found out since then. I mean, that video was in September. She is having a boy, and
Praise be to God.
Child's name is going to be, or is, Aiden Ambrose. I was never a fan of the name Aiden until we discovered Saint Aiden of Northampton. He was a priest and then bishop who was sent by Rome to that part of England to help convert the local population to the faith back in like the so-called Dark Ages. The Age of Faith is a better term for that. And we're like, oh, that guy's cool. Okay, so we're he had a very compelling story. So that, and then Ambrose is after Saint Ambrose. I mean, I hope I don't need to explain who Saint Ambrose was. So,
Congratulations.
Thank you. Someone asked about my other channel, I think. My other channel is about the carnivore diet. It's practical carnivore. And in some ways, it's like, thanks. So in a lot of ways, it's very similar to what I do at Return to Tradition, because I like to talk about food news and some really scary stuff going on in the world of food. That old "don't eat the bugs" thing. Well, that's very real. So I don't talk about pretty frequently. So go check it out if you're interested in that. Even if you don't do like the carnivore diet or even keto, some of those stories will make your eyes open. And at the very least, people stop eating processed food. Like seriously, most of the stuff in the processed foods you eat are not even legal as ingredients in Europe. There's not. Like most countries, look at that stuff. Like, do you like Mountain Dew? Or did you ever like Mountain Dew? There's an ingredient in the Mountain Dew in the United States, and it's not in their European and Australian versions, called brominated vegetable oil. I'm not sure what brominated means exactly, but it's banned in all over the civilized world except in the United States. Just one example. There's the list of these things is so extensive, it's bizarre. So it's the kind of stuff I talk about there, and also like carnivore diet tips and things. If you want to check it out, feel free. Someone's been making sourdough with a homemade starter. If I could do that, I would totally do it. But I haven't had bread
Carnivore.
other than the Eucharist in like 2 years now. So, but yeah, thanks for the congratulations, folks, about the kid. His due date is April 6th, which is just a couple days before Easter. It would not surprise me if, for the first time since being a Catholic, I missed Easter Mass because my wife was in labor that night. It just
That would
wouldn't
be
surprise
epic.
me. It would be. I'd be like, yeah, sorry, Father. I'm pretty sure I got a good excuse.
No, that'd be cool. That'd be a cool
That would
story for the rest of
that
your
would
life.
be. Yeah, I'd be like, this is my Easter baby. He's born on Easter. My oldest son, Nicholas, his birthday is October 13th.
Hmm.
Feast
My
of the Sun.
brother's birthday is Christmas Eve.
Nice. My daughter Mary, her birthday is October 12th, and which is weird because we didn't exactly plan it that way. It just sort of worked out that way. So I usually try to keep the personal, life stuff away from my channel, except in these mailbag videos. I don't mean it to sound in that last clip like we weren't, that my daughter was unwelcome or whatever. I mean, we've been actively, wanting a second child. It's just the timing was kind of funny. So, back-to-back birthdays are always a strange thing in a family. And growing up, my brother and I, who is actually visiting in town, he'll be joining us for Thanksgiving dinner. He and I have the same birthday, just several years apart. So, and two of my sisters have the same birthday. So it's odd. But it happens. Those things, they happen in families. And I kind of hope this is the last child we have that shares a birthday, or that our daughter is the last one whose birthday is really close to sharing a birthday with another sibling. Give us as many kids as God wants to give us. That would be great. But let's just like to have their birthdays spaced out at least a little bit for their own sake, just because as a kid it was weird sharing my birthday with someone else. Anyway, that's it for the mailbag, I think. If you have questions you want for the mailbag to be talked about in a mailbag video, go ahead and send them to me. Maybe wait until sometime in December or send them in the mail. My P.O. Box address is in the description box below. Maybe I'll put it on the screen here too. People as you might expect, send things in the run up to and just after Christmas, and I like to do a mailbag video after that's all done. So maybe December or early January is when I'll do the next one. If you have questions for that, go ahead and send me just send me a letter. If you send a donation in the mail, please include an email address. I like to send people a thank you and put them on my patron email list that I don't share with anybody. It's never been shared with anybody. They just get early access videos and that kind of thing. So anyway, I hope you have a blessed Thanksgiving today. Take your Advent to another level if you can. Maybe I'll do another one of these videos, more clips from that live stream for Sunday, which is the first day of Advent, and where we talk a little bit about taking your Advent to the next level and actually bringing back some of those old penitential practices for Advent. Well, let me know what you thought of this in the comments, please. And always pray for the church. I'm Anthony Stine. Ave Maria.